Hi guys, it's Anita. Welcome back to Advice with Anita. Now, in the previous episode, it was basically back to school advice for high school students. But now, this one kind of has to involve with school, but it's not really much of a back to school thing. It's more like advice because I think I don't I don't really remember, but I know most extracurricular activity sign-ups are around like September or October, around that time, like after Labor Day. But there are some where you like sports and all that, you sign up before the school year starts because of, and I'm talking about fall sports mainly. Now, my advice is when it comes to extracurriculars, well, number one, school comes first. Your academics come first. But of course, you should know that if you are in high school. Also, do not sign up for tons and tons of activities because then you will not have time for schoolwork. Um, Also, my advice is the maximum you want to do is maybe 4 or 5. Now, for those who are in like an officer position, um, you might want to do 2 or 3. Editor-in-chiefs or editors of editor-in-chiefs mostly for the school newspapers, you might want to not join tons and tons of activities. Especially, you may want to just do 1 or 2, and that's it. I never been an editor-in-chief, but I know people who were editor-in-chief of their school newspaper, and they did other activities, and they were trying to catch up on things, and they were going through stress. So my advice is don't join too much if you're an editor-in-chief. Actually, do not join too much in general. Editors of the yearbook, same thing. You have a huge commitment to that yearbook. There is no time for any other activities but that. I never been editor of anything again, so I did not have to go through the stress. But again, I know people that went through the stress. So if you want to join a bunch of activities, join 5 or 6 activities. I suggest you do not take position of any editor position that is very demanding, like editor-in-chief or editor of the yearbook or editor of the literary magazine. Student council, if you're an officer for that, you do have quite a lot of responsibilities. But I think the people that have the most responsibility are the chair committees, the committee chairs, because almost like every week, or depending on what kind of school you go to, you have to plan things. Especially if you are a fundraiser committee chair, because I know how hard that is, even though I never experienced it. I know people who have. What else? Oh, big, big tip of them all. If you are like an officer or a chair committee, a committee chairperson, whatever you are, the big suggestion is do not like, if you sign up for another activity, do not be in where you have a humongous commitment, like being an editor, again, being editor-in-chief, and being the editor of yearbook or whatever editor. And do not take, and advice is don't take other officer positions where you have to stay every day, depending on what activity is. Not all officers have to stay every day. Sometimes they have to stay once a week. But make sure you're very flexible when it comes to your Also, another big advice, if you are in huge positions with whatever position you are, officer or editor or whatever, you might not want to join tons of activities, but also and add a sport on top of that. I know people who have done that and were so dead tired by practices or rehearsals. Again, that goes with the too much extracurriculars. Now, yes, colleges love it when you do extracurricular activities, but you don't want to join too many. That's why I never took officer position or took the position of editor, because it's a conflict. It's a huge conflict, actually. Um, so I was pretty flexible. The biggest thing is time management. That is the biggest thing you need to worry about is time management when it comes to your studies and your extracurriculars. See, I've joined like 5 or 6 extracurriculars at my school that I graduated from. And also, I may only did one extracurricular outside of school. You can, now my advice is if you join an extracurricular outside of school, make sure it's a weekend thing or not during other school extracurriculars. That's what I did. Most of the extracurriculars I did outside of school were weekends, where I didn't have any schoolwork. So, and actually, colleges like it if you do extracurriculars outside of school too. So, yeah. So that is my advice when it comes to extracurriculars, because I know a lot of people are like really excited about the extracurricular activities. So that's my advice to you. As again, you are not required to take my advice. It's just advice. It is helpful advice, but you do not have to follow it. You could just, whatever floats your boat. But just remember, school always comes first. So that's it for Advice with Anita.